Yo, yo, yo. The Southern Gooner is in the building with my partner in crime, Gary, aka DWTT. Brother,
Hello.
what's going on, man? We hadn't seen each other in a couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. The World Cup and then no Arsenal makes it
Yeah.
easy just things just getting away. But yeah, it's good. It's good to be hanging out with you and talking. I'm going to be talking from football that we're actually going to enjoy a lot more than what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. So looking forward to that.
I mean, it's consider, considering where we were at this time last season. It's quite amazing. What a difference at how things have turned out for us as we prepare for the kickoff of the what I call midseason. So we are there, man. We are there. World Cup is over. Messi did his thing. Argentina, props to them. Well deserved. And shout out to Emmy Martinez. If you watching, man, I was always there for you, brother. I was always supporting my man. But it is what it is, man. So once a gunner, always a gunner. So
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't hear. He can't complain about Arsenal anymore. He's won,
yeah,
he's won trophies for Messi.
yeah,
Both times he's been part of one of the reasons why they were able to do what they did, and Messi to get two trophies. One for both for Argentina. Was it Copa? I forget what it's called. The Copa Cup or whatever.
the
I
Copa,
forget
it was the Copa America.
Copa America, and he's got himself a World Cup. There you go. So, yeah, it's imagine being. I was there. I was on the team with Messi. All right, Messi,
Yeah.
the goat. Right.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and get right down to business. We are about to start the season back on Sunday, right? I think it's Sunday. Sunday morning.
Sunday,
Uh,
everything starts up.
yeah. I mean,
Arsenal, a little bit different, but Sunday, everything starts up.
yeah. It's quite crazy to see how quick it got here. We were just talking. It seemed like a year ago. It feels like a year ago that that's how long it took. But
Mhm.
we are getting ready to kick things off, man. And let's go ahead and just put this out on the carpet right now. Going in, because what I want to see, me personally, we've got about a week and some change away until that transfer window. We're going to talk about a few things there, a few stories. That transfer window is going to open up, and I've said on several outlets. I told Lee, I told Jez and Kenny in the gang. We have got to open the checkbook right out of the gate. I don't think we have the time to do what we normally do, which is wait all the way until the last day of the season. I mean, of the year of the transfer window there. And while me and you are sitting here on a transfer day special, looking, checking, and refreshing every 5 minutes to see what is going on. We've got to see who's coming in. We've got to get these signings over the line soon as the window opens. Soon as the window opens, we've got to get these signings in. Gary, what's your thoughts on where we are right now heading into the transfer window?
Yeah. If you're planning out your season and you're like, well, where would I like to be going into January? This is it. You can't get any better than this. You can't, right? If you're planning, you scripted everything out. If we play perfectly for the first half of the season or up until January, what does it look like? It looks exactly like this. And then you have then you have one of your top players go down. You should already have an answer for that, right? And it's not even that he went down; it's that you needed a backup anyways, right?
Yeah,
Going into the season, we knew that we had some holes, and the holes weren't in our starting 11. Our starting 11, I think, is solid, but depth, right? Depth behind the striker, depth behind our defensive midfielder. So you knew that. So it's everything played out perfectly. You didn't really miss any games that hurt us. We're good enough to handle missing Jesus for the games that we did. Partey as well. We thought we were going to miss him. No, this is this perfect storm. Everything worked out for you. If you're not going to do something now, you're never going to do it, right? And I think that's probably a lot of people's concerns. Is that guess what? You can't get any better than this. Nobody has ever done what we're doing. Definitely in an Arsenal shirt, nobody's done it. Ride it while it's hot, right? You're on a roll, right? 7-Eleven, you can't stop, right? What do? You just keep rolling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can add some money, more money to the pot, and let's see what happens. But this is a perfect start to a season. No matter what they do from here on out, it'll probably never ever look like this, right? One
W-
loss, 5 point lead, and going into the winter, coming into Boxing Day. Yeah, so Boxing Day's on Monday, so
Yeah.
these games will be on Monday. Come on,
I mean,
come on.
I think, and shout out to Anthony and our brother, the Assemble. Thanks y'all for stopping by, man, and dropping in. I appreciate that, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button for your brother. Before y'all head out, make sure y'all go subscribe to DWTT. I know the Assemble is already hanging out over there. You know, he's always on for preparation. And we appreciate
Yeah,
your support, brother.
yeah.
We are at at a junction of Arsenal's history where we have got to take advantage of this. I mean, you hit on something there. We knew before we even got to this point that we were still short in that position, and we hadn't got to the elephant in the room. We'll come to him in just a second. But what happens? I guess we will go ahead and get ready to get to him. What happens if Eddie and Ketia rolls out on Wednesday and he gets hurt? That would be Arsenal like, wouldn't that be the most Arsenal thing that could happen? Is that if he runs out and he gets hurt, you know? Shout out to brother Tom in the building. I don't have any chips on me, man. I don't have any chips on me here, but I'll crinkle up something for you. but but we have got to splash this cash, man, and we've got to get players in. I've said this. We've got to get. I prefer a striker, not a winger. I prefer a striker uh, because I think that a striker kind of complements what we have, whereas a striker meets the need of what we have. Uh, Memphis Depay, five. What I think somebody told me $2 million. I was like $2 million for Memphis Depay for a year or two. Absolutely, we take that. You know, that is a good piece of business. You know, because he's going to at least give you 13 to 14. That's what we need. You know, that's what we asking for Eddie to do. 14 to 15 goals. You know, you got Zaha. He's out of contract. You can go. You know, put some on the table, and they got to take it because they're going to lose him for nothing. You know, so that's right for the picking. You know, uh, I've heard people toss around throw Martinelli in the middle, which I would say, you know, he's strong where he is. You know, kind of leave him, you know, and where his strength is, which is on the outside. You know, but I really think that Zaha, Memphis Depay, uh, and also I'll bring this up right now. This is being tossed about. I'm not reading too much into it. Let's see if I can find it here. Let me back out of here. Let me see if I can find this article. It won't pull up here. MSN is okay. There it is. It should pop up now. Let's see. Let's see. This is being talked about. I think that this is something that we can. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. There it is. All right. So this is being talked about. You know, they're saying that Aston Villa, you know, Arsenal has open talks with Jao Felix. Now, how true this is, you know how it works overseas, man. You know, it's just anything to get people to look at a article or whatnot. But I'm telling you, if he's available, and there's an opportunity for us to get him, Gary, I'm all over this, man. I'm all over this. This is not even a date, you know. This is in the perfect world, by the way. I want you to understand that this is in a perfect world, Gary. That if we have an opportunity to get a player of Jao Felix's status, I will go for it. A lot of people saying that he flopped. I don't necessarily say he flopped. I just don't think he was the best fit for the system that he was in, and that happens to you know as I know that happens to some of the best strikers in the world.
Yeah, no, I mean he's a young talent, and that's kind of what our team's been based on, right? We got a lot of young talent coming in, um, he would fit in perfectly for what we want to do. And I don't know. As you said, this one seems a little bit too much for Arsenal to handle. Maybe too much for Arteta, and I do kind of the way that they've at least looked at the players that they brought in. This one might be a little bit too much. Too much might have a little bit too much shine for them. You know, this might be like one of those. Can they close it? And I don't know. This might be a little too much for them. Plus, I don't think they want to spend whatever monies are required to bring him in. I
I
think
would tell you this: if they brought him in, me personally, I think it would make their summer window a lot easier because you know for a fact you don't have to worry about this for at least the foreseeable future.
yeah,
And he has a decent injury record. I don't recall him being out too much for injury. You know.
yeah. No, you're right, and that's where do you take advantage of where you are today, or do you build for some future that isn't that you don't even know? Right now, you're in a good situation. All you can do now by bringing in players right now, at least in the positions that we need, is just you can't make things worse, all right? Because they're bad right now. So you bring in anybody and you get anything out of them, that's more than you had coming in. So I think you're almost not necessarily playing with house money, but
Well,
doing nothing really
that's what
bad.
you are.
But
That's what you are. You are
yeah,
playing.
I'm trying to be
Hey,
nice. I'm trying to be nice to
we
them.
are playing with house money. We are playing with house money. Right now, as a matter of fact, we're playing with house money. So like you said, 7-Eleven, keep on rolling.
That's right. Well, yes, definitely. We need. Yeah. So I kind of, yeah. I don't know too much about. I know Joao Felix a lot, but I don't know a lot of the details on him. It just seems like too good to be true, almost like
Mm.
Darwin Nunez, right? For me, and that's kind of I think Arsenal doesn't need that big, right? They don't need something that big, like like you mentioned Depay, you mentioned Zaha. If they were to bring those two players in for the money as it takes, it's less than 25 mil for those two players for at least 6 months for Zaha. You're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
I told Curtis Shaw, I said, Zaha is the way, man. Me personally, I think Zaha will be the cheapest out of all, out of all of them. And the boy wants to play for Arsenal. He's always wanted to play for Arsenal.
Yeah.
We were in for him. Everything points to, let's get this guy in, and he can play both ways. He can go through the middle, or he can go out wide. It all just depends on whatever you want to do. He can do both. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I think that
I know a lot of people are like Zaha. Nah, that's like his attitude and all these things, which
man, if you play,
I'm yeah.
if you were 29, 28, I think he's 29, 28, and you've wasted half your career at Crystal Palace, I'd have a bad attitude too.
Yeah, and that might be, but that attitude might be the reason why they don't pick him up because I mean you see it in games, right? He's playing. He doesn't like the way that they're calling the fouls or not calling the fouls on him, and it takes away from his game. And we can't. Guess what happens to Arsenal players? Guess what? You look at the losses that we've had. A couple of losses, a couple of struggles that we've had in games. That's exactly what teams did to us, right? They just try to beat us up as much as they could, and we, you know, like Saka ignores it. Zaha, it gets in his head. Zaha gets in his head. Next thing you know, he can't play anymore. All right, he's lost. So that's going to happen more and more with Arsenal, especially now without Jesus there.
I think, Gary. I think because I'm going to play devil's advocate with you because they tell me that we have the root worker. That's the manager, and that manager can rise above all of that. So if Arteta is the man that he is, then he should be able to fix that. That should be an issue.
Yeah, but he's fixing it with players that fit his profile coming in, right? So he's not bringing. There's not too many players that you've seen him bring in where you said, well, like the first one of the attributes of that player is that maybe they've got a little bit of an attitude issue that you might have to be concerned with. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna bring in that player because of that, and that's why players have left and been let go because they just don't fit his his dynamic of how he sees players.
Yeah, I don't,
They need to be able to listen to him.
Anthony. I don't see it. Honestly, I really don't see us bringing in Leroy Sané. That's one that when I heard it initially, I said, nah, that's something that would probably get done in the summer if it was to get done. I don't see that happening. Considering the situation that, like you said, with Sadio Mane, I always get the names confused. Sadio Mane confused. But back to Leroy. See, I was about to do it again to Zaha. I think Zaha could come in and do something.
Yeah.
But if you want to move away from that, Memphis Depay. Like I said, Memphis Depay, $2 million, man. I mean, bro, what? $2 million. See, this is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that we're gonna diddle around like we normally do, and Newcastle's gonna come in. We'll sell off 3 guys to who's at the bottom of the table now. Who's at the bottom?
I
forgot since we hadn't watched it in a month. I forgot who.
I was gonna say like
who's at the bottom of the table in the Premier League?
Say Wolves.
I can't remember who the bottom.
Yeah, Wolves are at the bottom. That's what I was gonna say. Wolves, Southampton, and Nottingham Forest make up the bottom.
So they'll sell off 2 or 3 of their players, and then they'll send them to teams like that, and then they'll go get upgrades on all of their players and bring them in. That's what worries me.
Yeah, well,
and you know they've got a capable manager, and they're only a few points behind us. This is what people are not looking at. Newcastle is literally sitting on our ass.
Yep,
they're like literally sitting on it, and all it takes is for them to make a few moves, improve what they have, and then now we've got to deal with that problem. This is why Sunday I told Jez and the guy in the chat. I told him, we have to be proactive. We cannot be reactionary Arsenal this year. This is not the year to be reactionary. You want to be reactionary, next year, that's cool. But this year, you're in first place. This is why I said, Gary, I said, a lot of people will be really upset. That's why and you know how I get. I've been very mellow the last 3 months. But I'm here to tell you, if we do not make the necessary signings in January, I'm gonna cut a week-long video on getting Arteta out this club and the regime, because it would be unacceptable that we do not make the necessary changes. Now, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm pretty sure he realizes he needs a striker. So, okay, if you realize that, now it's up for you to voice that to the manager. I don't hear nothing about you over here in the States, out in LA, enjoying Stan Kroenke and all them, and y'all ain't brought up about I need a striker and I need a midfielder. And then as of this afternoon, from what I've heard about what I saw about Suarez, now it looks like you're going to need another backup right back. So if that is true, then we've got a little shopping we got to do, man. We got to get the Macy's bag out. We got to go walk around. Go up the escalator, look around and pick up a few things. There's a lot of work to be done here. If we plan on competing for the Premier League title, we have got a lot of work to do starting in January. This is why the first week is going to be critical. We've got a couple of games before we get to that week. So we've got to go out. We got to win against West Ham. And I think what City's next, right after that. We got West Ham and City, right? So we've got to go to work right out of the gate. Is it City or is it Newcastle?
No, we don't. They play West Ham and
West Ham and Newcastle and Brighton. Okay, Brighton won't be easy. I mean, Brighton won't be. So you got West Ham and Brighton, and then you got Newcastle in there, and then you got I think City at the beginning of the year, somewhere right around there. We've got a lot of tough fixtures coming up in remember I told you this. Now I told you this when we got the schedule. I told you, Gary. I said, "Have you seen that schedule for the first of the year?" Everybody was like, "Well, look at October." I was like, "No, look at the first of the year," because the way I was looking at it, Gary, was I was looking at it just this situation, and in my head at the time I was thinking we would probably be in third or fourth, and I was like, "Well, third or fourth." Then we got to deal with this run in at the beginning of the year. That's a lot, rough. But it's just as bad now because we're at the top of the table and we can mess around here and go from first all the way to fourth or third if we not careful and can navigate this thing right. Which is why I said that the first week of the transfer window will be the most critical juncture of this season because if we don't bring in our signings early, we can't afford to be dropping games in time. Having that run in like we did this time last year. Because you remember that run in this time last year? Draw, folks getting red cards, injuries, two injuries here, player out for this, all this kind of junk, and then we capitulate, and then of course, we'll be the laughing stock, the really be the laughing stock of the league then. So shout out to Taib. How you doing, brother? Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Always good to see you. Brother, I see you in the chat on all other channels I'll be on as well, man. So it's always good to see you up late tonight, man. So glad to have you here, brother. Let's move on from Jao Felix because that's probably not happening. We're not even going. I'm not even for to get emotionally drawn into that. But what I will get drawn into is well, you know what? I got to go back to that anyway because I was sharing it. Let's go back up here. Let's go right now here. Gabriel Martinelli. They say the word on the street is my brother is signed a 5-year deal. Now, this is a good, if this is true, which we'll find out in the next 48 hours. We'll find out within the next 48 hours. Now, this is how it works with Arsenal. Everybody else will report this tomorrow. ESPN will confirm it. The Athletic, everybody else will confirm it. We'll get on Christmas morning when you wake up, Arsenal will confirm it. That's how Arsenal work. They'll give it to you on Christmas morning to make you feel good about yourself. All signs point to Gabriel Martinelli remaining here at the Emirates. I couldn't be more happier, more elated. I do wish it was Saliba re-signing and Saka, but this is one part of the dominoes that's starting to fall. Gary, I think this is good going forward. As my brother from another mother says, we have protected his value, and so I think that is a good thing to go ahead and pick him up. But I'll tell you this too: don't think because he signed a 5-year deal, don't think that if we don't show the ambition, he will not look to go out that door. So let's put that out. Let's put that caveat out there right now. Just because these players are re-signing do not mean that they do not have aspirations of winning things. This is not the Arsene Wenger days where we people sign back for the manager. No, that he's going to do his in his mind. He still put us on that 2-3 year time frame to see what we're doing. This is why I said this is critical this year, man. If we win a title, now it all bets off. We going it'll be a lot easier for people to say, you know what, I want to go over there and be a part of what they got going on. But as of right now, the jury is still out. But this is a very good signing here.
Yeah, no, when I saw it, I was like, okay, like you said, this is one of the. I was actually thinking of the other two, but I was just like, this is one of those signings we got to make. We did, like you said, Saka and Saliba also are crucial to our future. So, but yeah, this one, and supposedly the Saka one's been going on for months, which I'm a little disappointed that it hasn't finished yet. But we'll take it when they come. So, Gabriel Martinelli coming in signing, I'll take it. Good for us. He's rested, so he's yearning to go. If he signs it beforehand, we'll know when he gets out there. I mean, for me, Saliba and Martinelli, they should be able to play right away. I don't know. None of this like they went to World Cup, so they're tired. Nah. How many minutes did they play? I don't even think they played a full game. You add up all their minutes, right? So they should be ready to go. And this should get some incentive in Martinelli to want to get out there and showcase what he hasn't been able to do for like a month. Think about it. He's been practicing. He hasn't actually played in I guess he did play in one match, right? And he was the best player there. So that's a good sign for us. And yeah, no. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play. And like you said, he'll play out. I don't think any of that talk about moving him to the middle. I think that's no. Unless you're bringing in somebody better than him to play out there, then no. What's the point? Let him play where he is. He is a threat when he puts. As I've said multiple times, you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold with nightmares because of him, right? and most defensive players also have felt not the raft, but they've
No,
been threatened.
that's the right word.
They've been the
Yeah,
raft.
the wrath of Martinelli, man. The savagery.
So
The savagery, man.
no, like I said, this is a good one. I kind of feel like these players are going to sign with Arsenal, so it's not much. I haven't really been too fearful of it. I think Arteta is liked by all these young players for sure. So I kind of feel like he's got them like feeling what he's buying what he's selling essentially.
Yeah.
And he's putting them on a platform, right? They're not going to get that elsewhere, not yet. But here, it's all about them. It's all about Saliba, the Sackers, the Martinellis, right? It's all about them right now, and then Jesus is pulling them along, and then why not? Yeah, and Erdogan is getting his name out there. So yeah, now hopefully this is a this is a done deal as they've said, and we should see him hopefully play on Boxing Day. I haven't said it, but hello to everybody in the chat. I see a lot of people in there. Like you said, Anthony joined us, Mr. Tom, the Assemble, Taib. Thanks for joining us here.
What's going on, brother? We appreciate you, man. We appreciate your love, my man. We appreciate
you.
Yeah. I think this is big. This is really big, man. That we're able to secure some of these bright stars. And I'll tell you this, man. Let's also, you can read into this a little bit. The guys are close knit, so discussions have been had amongst each other about who's re-signing and who's not. So they would have known that he's probably gonna come on back, and stay. And I think this is very foretelling signing out. As I said, I don't know about Saliba, because that could go either way. You just don't know right now where that could go. But I really hope that we can get him over the line. Saka's another one that I know he's probably sitting back watching and waiting to see what's going on, because he's got a lot of options on the table.
Yep.
A lot of options. So he's gonna see how this thing plays out and see how it goes.
Here's something I don't know if this is what concerns me. As you said, we need to bring in some new players, and we need to bring them in ASAP, right? Basically, day one, there should be some serious conversations about players signing with Arsenal, if not already signed. When I see this, I get concerned, because I'm like, these are deals that you needed to be working on up until say the winter break, when the World Cup happened, because they're not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I think he's got one more year anyways, right? I think it's Martinelli's the one that has one more year. Or all three of the players will be here for a while, I think. We just don't want him to go into that last year unsigned. But my thing is, I just don't feel like they have enough bandwidth to sign him and then sign at least two players, one being a big name based on what we've heard, Murdoch coming in, and another one to support that attack that we have. So that's my only concern, is when I see those signings go through, I'm like, how much effort did that take away from the things that are crucial to our current situation, which is top of the league and maintaining everything we've got, right? Because those deals have been going on for a while. They've been chatting it up with Saliba and Saka and Martinelli's agents for a while now, because they've known they need to get it done. And I just always feel like they stress themselves staying, and then nothing happens, right? Because that happened last time. They put all this effort into Dusan, and then at the end of the day, they started like looking at. It looked like they were looking at players later on in the window, and this was too late, right? Like, a lot of these questions of who we're going to bring in need to be answered sooner, and more for the case that you are sitting top of the table.
Well, let's go back to what I said when we first started tonight. I said that we have to get out of the aspect, and this is going to ask you a question, Taib. We've got to get out of the attitude of playing from behind. We are at the top of the table. We're not in sixth place trying to get into qualification for Champions League. We're in right now. We're where we need to be at. So they really need to sew up. Like this. We'll get on this fella right here. I don't know too much about this guy. I don't watch a lot of Ukrainian football. When we were in the Champions League, I used to follow, watch these teams all the time. I know who Shakhtar Donetsk is, but it's been years since I even watched a game for Shakhtar Donetsk. I mean, Teixeira played for him the last time I watched him, and that's been God knows how long ago. We lost at least 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. So I know nothing about what's going on at Shakhtar Donetsk. So for me to sit up and tell you that this guy will be a world-class signing, great signing, I can't tell you that because I don't know. But the question is this guy better enough to get us over the line? Because I don't care what people can say what they want to say. As far as I'm concerned, we're challenging for a title right now. If we go through the rest of the season and you tell me that, Matt, but we lost to Man City, but we lost to them coming down the stretch, second to last game of the season, last day of the season, I can work with you. But if we piss it away like we did last year at Newcastle, like we pissed it away, then I'm gonna have an issue if you bring this guy in and he does not get us over the line or he doesn't do it down the line. This is the thing, Garrett. Arsenal, it worries me when Arsenal spend a lot of money on unproven talent. Because we've seen this, whether you like Pepe or not. I happen to like him. But when you bring in a player with a $72 million price tag and he doesn't live up to that standard by any stretch, whether it be the other managers in fantasy, we all know how that turned out. That was a lot of money tossed down on the table. They're talking about this guy. They want top dollar. So here we go again. This is not to say that he won't prove me wrong or whatever, but really, this is what I would call a complimentary signing. Remember, I just told you, I just said $2 million for Memphis Depay or Zaha. We know we have a track record. We can actually look and see what these gentlemen have done. I can't look over here at Mudryk and go, well, this guy's going to take us directly to the title. I cannot say that. I cannot, and I will not say that. But if they plan on signing the guy, whether it's to my liking or not, if Arsenal going to sign, if they plan on, they know that this is the guy that they want. This is my thing with us, Gary. If they know that they've had meetings, they've ate salads, chicken, they've sat down at the table, they've eaten, and they've discussed this. They've brought that from my understanding, their manager was in London this week. He's already been over here. He just ain't come over to London to go walk down to over to Burberry to get a new hat. Why he was in London. They've discussed this. This needs to be done day one. Gary, we do not have the luxury of time. I'm telling you, we do not have the luxury of time to play around here with fooling around with players like this and have another Dusan Vlahovic situation where me and you sit here on the last day of the season talking about players going out and none coming in.
Yeah. He is, and many people have probably heard me say this. He, to me, is Erdogan last January. You brought him in for what? Into January when we brought him in. Was he ready to play right away? Did he look the part like he does now? No. It took him a bit. It took him basically that last half of that season to understand what needs to be done, and then we saw it last season. Right, he looked much better, more comfortable in his skin, more comfortable in Arsenal shirt. This player is coming in, as you said, a lot more money for a lot more money than Erdogan, a lot more pressure. Not only is it Arsenal, we're top of the table, and we've already seen a collapse last season. So there's a lot of pressure on this. Most of the players, I think, for us right now are comfortable where we are right now. They've been doing this for a while. They've been doing this for this season. He's going to come into it new. He's not going to be, like you said, unless he comes in day one of the window, he's not going to have enough time to kind of feel his way around. One, the league, two, the pressure of maintaining this top of the table when he comes on needing to perform immediately, right? And as you said, most people have only seen him in Champions League. Nobody's seen him play for his club team. where they went, all right, how does he actually play there? How does he look? How does he look there? And does it work for us? I mean, I like I said, to me, this is the only reason why this is a summer. I get that a lot of people saying this is a summer transfer is because then we got more time with him, right? You bring him in the summer, you got more time than you're going to get now. You're going to get a month or two, depending on when you sign him, to bring him in. You don't have any time. Day one, that January 1 or whenever that window opens, he steps in, he signs that piece of paper, puts on the shirt. He's outside practicing the next day. For what? To maintain wherever we are, and hopefully we're still top of the table because that by the time he signs, we could not be. There is a chance, but I think we should be able to get at least a draw, if not a win, in one of our two games. But by January 1, we're going to be sitting there thinking about we want to stay up here at the top, or we want to get back to the top, and you're going to have to help us get there. And that's a lot of pressure for a young player. We keep saying that when Saka and Martinelli and Erdegaard, we put pressure on them. They've been under that pressure now. They saw it last season. Same players, right? Now they're seeing it here every week. For how many months now we've been top of the table? They've been used to this. He's coming in. This is fresh and new. It's going to be a little shock to the system for him. And you looked at what happened to Liverpool, right? You bring in Darwin Nunes. How long did it take him to where people are like, all right, I think he's comfortable now in that Liverpool shirt playing in the Premier League, right? Not realizing that they're gonna poke and needle you and figure out where your head's at. Right?
Yeah, it took them they brought him in, and right before the break was he finally starting to kind of get himself sorted out. So and I agree with you 100%. Now let's look at this. If we look at the schedule here, see, this is what I'm talking about. So West Ham, Brighton, and then we get down here to Newcastle, Oxford. Okay, the signing needs to be in no later than the Oxford game, because that's the game that they need to be getting. We need to be having a showcase on whoever we sign needs to be playing that day, because they need to be ready for that next weekend. We don't need to be going. Look at the next Tottenham and United back to back. We do not need to be going into these two games naked. We do not need to be going into these two games bare, because if we do not have this thing in order, I mean, it gets rough from there, man. It gets rough. I'm not sure if I can pull up full schedule, but it gets rough. Because that you're looking at a potential 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 points in the league right there. Me personally, no less than 9. No less. Yeah. No less than 9 points there, Garrett. That we've got to walk away with, man. If we do not walk away with some solid points in this, I'm calling for everybody's head and new signings. We don't need to be here doing this thing all the way down to January 30th. 31st, midnight, fax machines, messaging, sending stuff over faxes and all that stuff in 2012, Can he get to the physical on time and all that stuff? Can we get him, all this stuff? No, we need to have our business done. We need to be done by this date. We need to be just preparing for that game and moving on. We don't need to be talking about who's coming in, all this. Because what the narrative is going to change now. We mess around here, flop, and get all the way down here and start flopping. You're going to start hearing the knives come out after a while. It's been quiet, Gary. It's been quiet.
Yeah, and we've seen a January with no wins, right? We saw that last January.
Yeah, Carter, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
And that's the scary part is a January with no wins. And this is, like you said, we're only showing like 24 matches here, and we could be doing that again, and it shouldn't surprise us if it happens. And it's going to happen, one, because we're just not going to have the depth, and these players are going to have to play some big games. You get a rest against Oxford, but if you don't have the depth, then some players are going to have to play in that as well, right? Or else you're going to put the youth in and just call it a day. And we can't be giving away cup games, right? We can't be giving them away because I think we need them to build. We cannot take our foot off the gas just because, for me, we don't have the depth That's their problem. They should sort that out.
Yep.
So yeah, I kind of feel
There
like
are no excuses, Garrett. There are no excuses. That's basically what you're saying. There are no excuses for us not to be competing. The Edu came out beginning of August. He said that
Mhm.
the ambition is to challenge on all front. I'm going to hold him to that status that we should be challenging on all fronts. I really think that this is a golden opportunity. Like I told you, I've watched Arsenal for a very long time. I've seen just about every up. I've seen just about every down. I've seen some of the more things that I've seen play out, and I'm telling you, if we do not have our signing in no later, because this is what I'm gonna call this doomsday, January 9th. If we don't have a signing in by January 9th, y'all gonna start really starting to see me turn up the heat a little bit around here. And it's not because it's cold, because I'm dealing with the cold that we got from that cold front we got dealing from up there. Y'all folks in New Jersey sending us the cold fronts down here. It's gonna be because we are in deep doo doo if we don't have somebody signed by it before that. The last thing I want is to have to go to Tottenham's ground and we're scrambling trying to bring in players. That's the last thing that we need, because then you start to panic. You start panic buying. You start just scrambling. And as Lucas said right here, and I've said this all along. I was one of the first people to start saying this back in September, October. I told y'all, I said this January transfer window is going to make or break the Cronkies, Arteta, Edu, Garlic, and crew. All of them. This transfer window is gonna put a lot of, either they're gonna come out and be lauded as geniuses, they knew what they were doing, or they're gonna come out and we're gonna look back on this transfer window for years to come as a complete missed opportunity. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that one. And like I said, like you said, if you spend the money now, then you don't really have to spend the money as much in the next window, right? Because you've got a lot of the questions answered as to what else do you need to do. We've got a we've got a good 11, right? Our starting 11 competes. We've seen it compete with every team, so that's not the issue. Just whatever you bring in, they have to be able to play ASAP. They need to be able to play. And I don't know how much easier. I always say the biggest problem is usually have the easiest answers. You just don't want to do it for one reason or another, which I don't understand. Like this one, yes, we're not necessarily overhyped. I saw Lucas's comment, they were overhyped about thinking we're going to win the league, but if you're not going to do it now, when you ever going to do something like this? What is the goal here? And maybe many people kind of feel like, what, the reason why they may not want to do it because they don't want to spend any money. They want to overspend, and it's like, well, you spend money to make money. It's the only thing I've ever seen work. You barely ever have a perfect storm like a Leicester City season. That doesn't happen. And not for a team like Arsenal. They don't need to. They shouldn't have to. It makes a lot of money for everybody. And the more wins they get, the more money comes in. So, and the more you spend, the more you get back, right? Everybody said, look, you spent 50 on Ben White. I think they're getting that back. They're getting that back. And nobody thought that 50 was worth it. Guess what it is, right?
Look at Ramsdale.
Yeah. 24 for him. Everybody's like, got their money back there. And Tomiyasu, same thing, getting the money back. I mean, not too many. I think their losses have always been on the younger players that they've taken chances on. Your Tavage, your Sambi. They've taken some risk on them because they obviously they haven't been playing enough to where I think there's clips of them playing against like a Ronaldo, right? Like Tomiyasu, there's a clip of him playing against Ronaldo, right? They haven't played long enough to have that clip where you go, damn, that looked kind of nice, right? Or you've seen like White getting flipped on his butt by Salah or something like that. But they don't have those experiences, so they come in and like, look where we are with them. They're both probably going, So same thing with Murdoch. How do you say his name? Murdoch. He's going to come in. He's going to come in and experience the Premier League, especially with an
You
Arsenal shirt.
I didn't think who you.
Murdoch. I was gonna say Murdoch, like the A team, and I'm like, I don't think that's the right name.
That's what I was thinking. Like Murdoch, you been the 18 man, Mr. T. No, you talking about Mudrick.
Mudrick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me get it right.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how easy this thing has to be. This is like, come on. The cheat sheet is there. What you need to do, you know what you need to do. It can't be any easier than this. It can't.
I want to say this too, Gary. I want to say this, and I want people to understand. And it piggybacks off what you just said. I want people to understand that we're not guaranteed this again next year. I don't. Do people realize that we're not guaranteed? I mean, we're not guaranteed this year, next year. Year after that, this may be a one-off. Y'all remember, not Palace, Leicester. One and done. You know, because these other teams are going to strengthen. And that's going to be a problem down the line. All right, so we got about a few minutes here, Gary. So we're gonna take a direction switch from that. We're gonna go over to this game on Sunday. And how do you think we're gonna line up, man? Do you think we're gonna pretty much keep it the same way that we've done in preseason with filling and just basically filling in those spots with starters who've returned?
Yep.
And how do you see us lining up?
Yeah, of course. I guess we haven't even talked about him, but Nketiah is probably going to be up top in the middle.
I purposely didn't talk about him because you already did. Really not much to talk about, and so I really won't have much to talk about until we play West Ham, because he's going to have to damn score some goals.
Yeah. I mean, I've listened to a lot of people talk about him and try to and try to compare him and talk about him in the same breath as Jesus, and I'm like, I don't know. We can't do that. One, we shouldn't do that, because then he's never gonna. That's not his strength. That's not what he's gonna do for us. He needs to be like they talk about him being clinical when he's in front of goal. Like you said, he has to score goals. The only way to do that, he's gonna have to be in front of the goal. But what that means is everybody around him needs to step up their game a little bit more, because the things that Jesus was doing now has to spread to everybody. Like Erdegaard is going to have to step in. Xhaka is going to have to step in. I think he's probably ready to play, right? Those two need to show. Partey should be good to go. So he's going to have that like North London game where nothing gets by him, right? And on the outside, I'm assuming Saka and Martinelli will play. Right, they've had enough time to rest. I think 10 days at least for Saka, and more for Martinelli in terms of how much playing time he hasn't played. Right, so our attacking should be fine except for through the middle, and our hold up play needs to improve with the players that we have. They just gonna have to step up. That's the name of the game here. Our back line should be fine, right? I think Saliba should be there. White is healthy. Tomiyasu, I think, is healthy. Tierney's been there. I mean, so our back. There's nothing to change, really.
Have a good night, Tom. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, Tom. Right. So I don't think we should this team should not be able to play with West Ham just because Jesus is out. I think we have enough based on the players that we have and the style of play that we are performing to get it done.
I heard today that they got two. I heard that Antonio and
oh, that's right, yeah, and
both are injured. That kind of works in our favor there. Yeah. Which also adds to we should now no less than a win. I mean, I'm not even a draw, a win.
Yep.
We got to get a win. We need 6 points immediately. Immediately get 6 points and then build on it from there,
No, definitely.
I think all the starters start. I think all the normal starters start on Sunday. Somebody told me that Tomiyasu is training over in Japan. Why, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But I was like, why? Well, what's the deal with that?
Well, he left. He left.
I saw him
He
with a
left to
suitcase
Qatar,
around
yeah,
Qatar. That's what I thought.
and he was in Dubai. So that doesn't make any. That doesn't
I don't
actually
know.
make any sense.
Like I said, I don't know how true that was, but I know I saw him with a suitcase in Dubai at one point. Most of the guys went back. Now, Saliba, has anybody been able to round up where he is or what the deal is with that?
Well, he's probably just getting. They probably gave him his time off. That's why we haven't. I'm assuming that's why.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he's gonna play Sunday night. That's my concern. Is if he's ready to play, because he only played 40 minutes total.
Yeah,
my friend, he needs to be ready to roll on Sunday.
now you got me like thinking, because I'm like you said, like who was on our bench, right? Who was on our bench for that match, right? 'Cause now I don't remember now who played for us in that game and who was on the bench for us.
Well, I think that everybody who all the bodies that are ready to roll need to be ready to roll. We need the strongest team out there, ready to play on Sunday. We don't have time for. I told you, I'm treating this. We need to be in panic mode.
Yep.
All hands on deck from here out, all the way out, because we got this next half of the season. At least the first month is going to be hell on wheels. So we need everybody. We need every able body to man the deck, because it's going to be tough. And Mr. Nketiah, we'll close out talking about him. Nketiah, $100,000 a week, man. You know what I expect out of $100,000 striker, man? $100,000 striker is giving you 12 to 14 goals, and that's what but I'm not expecting that out of him. In theory, that's what I expect out of a striker. But I mean, we'll be good to get 5, man.
Yeah, and then the reason why you can say 12 to 15 is because that's the role that he's going to play. He doesn't have to come back and work. He doesn't have to come back and do any hold up play. He just needs to be sure he's in the box when that ball comes through, to head it, to put it through, to be there when the ball comes off the goalkeeper off the post. He's been and put a little bit of pressure on that back line, and when they cough it up and when they leave it dangling out there, he goes and gets it and takes it in, like he's shown us he can do, like in that Chelsea match where he got two games where he put a little bit of pressure on that back line and he was able to get the ball. So no, it shouldn't be an issue for him to get that many goals, because that's what we know, that we do provide enough chances. Right, we put enough chances in the good games, right? So that should not be an issue for
bro.
him.
You should have been talking like you trying to explain that to me, bro. I already know as you know, I'm from the South. That does not cut the mustard.
No, I get it, but that's the setup, and that's what he needs to. That's why Arteta says he's a big man. He can do it. Well, let's see it.
Assembled here asked, "Do you think Arsenal are good enough to win this title as they are?" I think we both in agreement that we're good, but we're not that good. We need some extra pieces. Gary was one of the premier YouTubers saying that how many players did we need, Gary, in the summer? How many you said we needed?
I need to say we needed 10. And
10.
We got the last 2 summers we brought in 6 players.
Yeah.
And that first summer 4 of them worked. This summer we brought in another 6 players, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
And we needed 10.
And all of them are contributing, right?
Yeah.
All of them are contributing. But you've got you've got Nketiah, who I think we need more from him to make it worth us keeping him. Marquinhos, I believe, is too young to give us what we need. Cedric isn't necessary anymore. I think we've got enough depth on that back on the outside there. Holding, scared for him when he comes in. It's a big drop, right?
I told Lee Gunner. We did our player ratings the other day on the Juve game, and I told him, I said it's time to move him on. Holding needs to be moved on. He is a liability waiting to happen.
Yeah.
You talk about a player that could very well cost us a run in this run in we got coming up. He's a surefire problem to have.
And Sambi is behind El Neni, as far as I'm
I
concerned.
told, but I
So,
told
so,
you,
and that's not where I want him to be. I want somebody to be between El Neni and Partey.
he
So,
he should be loaned out. He
yeah.
should be loaned out this window. He should be loaned out. Send him down to Palace or somewhere. Send him down to Nottingham Forest. He needs to be loaned out, getting weak. This is why Eddie Nketiah is not good as he is.
Yeah.
It's because Eddie Nketiah did not go out on loan when he should have been out there, grinding. Instead he got called back from Leeds when he should have been out 2 or 3, but maybe a year or two out working on his trade. But see, he's so old now in strikers years. He's old now to where it really is not going to benefit him because he is what he is now. We know what he gets a poach here or there, and then that's it. Now to the back end of what someone asked here about the loans. I wouldn't have a problem if they loaned Zaha, not Zaha, but Depay. Pick up bring him in. I just think that we've got to get the bodies in because we don't have no that's not an issue there. That too many players on the roster. No,
well, you know what the issue isn't today. It's just that there are players out on loan, right? Because you've got Marie on loan, you got Tavage on loan, you've got Maitland-Niles on loan, you got Pepe on loan, you got Balogun on loan. Yeah, that's why there's an issue, but that's a summer issue, right?
Yeah,
and more than likely, either you put those players back on loan. Is he not coming back here, right?
Yeah, he's not coming back.
I think Bellerin's on a loan. And,
he's on a loan.
So the players, only ones on loan that Pepe's the only one.
Maitland-Niles is on loan.
Yeah. So I think that's why there's a concern. But right now we're fine. If Cedric is one of those players on the way out, then that for me is good because he doesn't really have a place right now, right? He's a third right back for us when we're healthy,
Yeah.
So they're not going to put him in unless they really, really have to, right? So, that was a question, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think the count is wrong, but I think in summer it would be an issue, and maybe that's where this whole fair play thing comes into play, and that's the other part that's there is hanging over is just this fair play thing. So players need to be sold, and
bodies need to be moved out, and not only that, we need to bring in players that can stay healthy because we brought in Zinchenko, and Zinchenko has played 5 games or something like that. I mean, a handful of games at best. So I mean, we've got a lot of housekeeping to do, and this won't be the last time we talk about this transfer window. Like I said, I did want to get something in about the game. It is what it is. We know what it is. It's basically we need to win. I think we should win. Gary, your score prediction for this coming Sunday?
Ooh. Yeah, as you said, they're going to be missing their strikers, and I think our back 5 will be solid. Ramsdale will be there as well, right? So I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0. I'll take 3-1.
Yeah. I'm going definitely a 2-goal win. I don't,
Now where the 3 goals coming from? I know, and you know damn well Nketiah ain't scoring 3, so it's going to be spread out. Those goals are going to be spread out amongst the team. So we'll probably get a header from Gabriel and a dink from Martinelli or either Saka or something along that line. But we're gonna have to. We're gonna be watching Eddie Nketiah the next 2, especially the next 2 games. I'm gonna watch him with a really, really close. And see what's what. Tom said he'll take 7-7.
Nah, I don't want any of that. I don't. If we get any of that,
we don't need internet drama we saw on Sunday. We just need to go ahead and get the win and get out of there. So.
No, yeah, for sure. That's a road match or home. That's Rome. Right?
They were home. I think we're at home.
Okay, I have to look and see this real quick. Where are we at? We are. Oh yes, we're home. So we're home.
Yep. So we should be good. We're at home. That we should be all right on that. So we shall see. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Gary, brother, I appreciate you stopping through, man. Joining me. As always good to see my brother from up north.
Yes.
Want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for joining us tonight. And we will be back. I've got some other people lined up, and working to get some people. I will be over on Anthony. Doggone it, I forgot Anthony. I forgot Anthony Guna Claude. I will be on his channel. I had to think about it. Anthony, don't shoot me. I just got a long name, but I have to remember. I know Anthony Claude is in there. Anthony Guna Claude. I will be on his channel tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. if you're across the pond. We'll be on talking pretty much about the same thing tomorrow. That, and we'll probably talk about his transfer window in depth. We'll probably really talk about his transfer window in depth tomorrow. Matter of fact, I got a message from him right now, and I can tell y'all what we're going to be talking about. We'll be talking about okay, all right. He just said immersive and interactive. So I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty much the same thing we're talking about now. So we'll if you want to get more of my thoughts on the transfer window, we'll talk about that tomorrow. So Gary, we'll be back together next Monday. Hopefully we'll be back to smiling and laughing like we are tonight, having a good time, and not a grown fest. You know, we had some pretty good discussions this year, so we want to keep it that way. So I will end off with what I normally end off with on your channel, but we're here on mine. So we're going to do it on 3. 1, 2, 3. We are top of the league.
We are top of the league. We are top of the league. Said we are top of the league.
Yeah. So we gonna hopefully this weekend we still top of the league.
Yeah. No. This weekend we'll find. But we can't drop it.
5 points. Yeah, we 5 points. Yeah. Arsenal, the only team I know that'd be 5 points up and lose if somewhere another end up at the bottom on the back end of that shit. Arsenal, the only team that can do some shit like that. Be up by 5 points and still be on the back end of the table. Oh man, so Gary, I enjoyed it, man. Appreciate it, brother. Wish you and your family a Merry Christmas, man. Yeah. And we'll see you all.
To you as well. Yeah,
yep. And we'll see you. Yeah, I'll see you before New Year, so I'm not even gonna say Happy New Year because I'll see you Monday. So
all right, cool.
All right, for everybody in the chat, man, make sure y'all subscribe to Gary's channel, DWTT. Check him out. As for on my channel, make sure that y'all hit that like button, subscribe, share this. I see we got a few people coming in late. Make sure y'all go back and hit that rewind, check it out. Hate that we missed y'all, but we're getting ready to get out of here. It's getting late, and it's just time to eat, my people. Hope y'all doing good. As for Gary, myself, the Southern Gooner, I'm out. Peace.